When we first log into Dispatch, we're going to start in the Jobs list page. Think of this as a beautified version of Excel to allow you to view job offers, unscheduled jobs, scheduled jobs, paused work, and also all the work that is already in progress. Another view most people like to work on, and actually most people will work on, is our schedule page. Schedule page allows a dispatcher, such as this, to view all the technicians doing work out in the field today. And here we can see that 3 technicians each have 2 jobs assigned to them, and we can actually see their routes and their map on the map list here. On the Gantt view down below, we can see the time frame for when those technicians have those scheduled jobs, and you can look at some available white space for where you may want to schedule additional work for these technicians. On the left-hand side, we have a truncated view of the previous page with our job details list and the similar buckets over here, such as our unscheduled work, as you can see here. If I hit unscheduled, benefits of this is being able to view these jobs in an unscheduled status and put them on the map. So now, as a dispatcher, I can identify when I want to route a technician to maybe go hit up the Boston work all in one day without having to kind of connect the dots and be a little bit more efficient, right? Going back to the Gantt view really quick, we also have the ability to have different views. First and foremost, we have the timeline view. Next, we have more of a day view. How many jobs are assigned to each technician in a day? I can also go to the week view, understand how many jobs they have assigned here, and also we have a read-only version of the month view, helpful to understand, capacity and previous history and whatnot. Everything on the calendar is going to be drag and drop. So if I need to take Lauren's job and push it up to 10, I can do it just like that. Now it's assigned to 10. If I scroll back and I want to bring it back to 2 p.m. instead, same thing. So everything's going to be drag and drop no matter which view you're on. If I go to the day view and I need to take Sam's appointment and assign it to Ted instead, drag and drop, and just like that, now Ted has got his appointment assigned to him. If I want to drag it back and give it back to Rich, now Rich's calendar is back and updated. So very easy to manipulate and manage those jobs here in the platform. Now, speaking of jobs, let's go ahead and create a job. So a person comes and calls in, whether it's a call on demand, retail, cash job, we can hit the create icon in the top right hand corner and I can create that job. When I create that job, we're going to have some hopefully generic work order information that is required to complete this job. First and foremost, customer information. You can start searching the database of customers to identify if you've worked with them in the past or not. If you do, I can see Jessica Day. I can actually see a lot of Jessica Days. You can view information, verify that this is all accurate. We even have the ability to view customer job history and see all the previous work we've done with them in the past. If they indeed are a brand new customer, I can go back to that create job menu and I can start searching for John Larson or something like that. So we'll say, all right, let's add a new customer, go back to John Larson, and start creating this information out. You're going to see company options, phone number options, email options, home address, obviously, so we can identify where this job is going to be going to. And then that is all we have for the customer card. As we scroll down, we're going to use some job information, such as, let's say, HVAC broken. Job titles, put it in here whatever you want. Job description is going to be critical to pass off any information from the dispatcher to the technician. Nothing in the job information screen is going to be customer facing. All of this is for you and your business to create a job, pass as much data and information between the dispatcher and the technicians in the field, and make sure that everybody's kept in the loop. So I'm going to use a quick little buddy here to create this job, and we'll just say he's got some AC blowing hot air and some summary of other data here. That is all we need to create a job. If I continue scrolling down, there's some additional options around tracking the service types that the company's doing at the business, whether it's HVAC, plumbing, broadband, fully customizable, pull what needs to be in here for you and your business. Same thing for sources. How do they hear of you? Was it a website? Was it your phone call? Was it word of mouth or an email campaign? Do you get jobs from a specific source? You want to try to track that information. All these are fully optional, but can be helpful with monthly reporting and a reporting list. And then lastly, we have required skills. If I go back to my timeline view real quick, you'll see that I've got everybody available for assignment for today. But if I were to search for a specific skill, like plumbing, for instance, and I hit OK there, you're going to see that Derek and Ted are my only plumbers, and everybody else falls off the list. Really helpful for those that are a little bit bigger. You want to remove tribal knowledge and allow a dispatcher to create a job and assign it to whoever it needs to be assigned to. Lastly, when it comes to job assignment, we can do it in one of two ways. We can do single appointment, think of it as break fix or emergency work orders or anything like that. Or we also have what's called recurring appointments. Think of that more along the lines of preventative maintenance or recurring visits back for a certain product or something like that. So many different ways we can repeat this weekly, monthly, yearly. If I go monthly, we can repeat it every 6 months, 3 months, and then pick the date and time it's going to start and stop. For today's demo, I'm just going to hit single appointment, and what I will actually do is use Jessica Day as our customer since that is tied into my phone here. So I'm going to hit create job. So now we can see that the job has been created. Everything's going to be on the left-hand side over here. And now when it comes to assigning this job out, we can actually just take our appointment right here and we can easily drag and drop it to the calendar. And I can see that this is actually a really close job to Derek. And I'm going to use Derek for my demo today. So I can just drag and drop it to Derek this afternoon. And with ease, everything gets automatically assigned to Derek. His calendar gets updated and we can see what's going on there. Now, a lot of what Dispatch offers today is also around the customer experience. When I drag and drop that appointment to the calendar, we actually send a text message and email off to the customer so that they are constantly kept in the loop of what's going on. For instance, if I show my phone here, here's our mobile app, which I'll show in just a moment. But if I go to my text messages here, you'll see that I'm acting as Jessica here, have now gotten the confirmation of when that appointment is happening. And I've also got an email version of that here, saying heads up. Oh, this is another email saying, hey, heads up, your appointment has been scheduled for April 3rd. And we also have what's called our customer portal, where a customer can click into our customer portal. They don't have to download an app. They don't have to log in with a cell phone or email, but they just click on the link and I can now see many different things from a customer standpoint. Hey, here's the confirmed and scheduled status of the job. Here's a picture of what the technician looks like, and here's where the time frame of when I should expect them to arrive. And I can always come back to this screen to get constant information of what's going on with this job. It really helps remove phone calls and the, hey, where's my tech, and anything like that. If I go back to the work app here, the last thing I want to highlight around messaging is that sometimes the instant text messages just aren't enough. Maybe you need to have a phone call or a text message with the homeowner to validate some information. Maybe you want to try and schedule the job a day early. Maybe you need to come out there an hour earlier, maybe an hour later. How do we help with that? Dispatch Inbox can help with that by using this messaging tool here. So if I hit the messaging tool here and I can see I'm going to type to Jessica, I can say, hey, Jessica, how about 4 p.m. this afternoon instead? And when I hit send here, you're going to see that message go instantly, ta-da, underneath the other automatic notification we've already had, and I, acting as the customer in this case, can respond back. And I can say, yes, please. Exclamation point, send that off. That in real time will get sent back over to the dispatcher, as you can see over here, and we can wait for that to arrive. And voila, there it is. Now, what I can do here is take this job with Jessica Day, move it back to 4 p.m. this afternoon, and then if you ever want to, you can re-notify the customer about the upcoming appointment, or I can say your appointment has been rescheduled. Either one will work in this case. Use these as you want. I will say send that reminder here, and again, everything falls automatically in there. And now in the text message here, I even have the ability to view the customer portal from my cell phone. And I can see the exact same information. I can now see it was pushed back an hour, and I can get ready and wait for his arrival. So now let's move our view over to the technician and what's it look like for their day-to-day. So we have two different mobile apps on the Dispatch on the platform called Dispatch Field and Dispatch Manager. Dispatch Field is going to be for your field service technicians. They receive scheduled work, they go out and do that work, and that's it, the end of it. We also have Dispatch Manager for dispatchers that want a mobile application, and then for any managers who may receive scheduled work for themselves, but might also need to help manage the schedule while they're in the field, and we've got that capability as well. So again, just to recap, I have Derek here queued up, and I'm using Dispatch Field, the Field Service Technician app. If I refresh this view, we can now see we have that AC blowing hot air this afternoon. I can also look at my calendar view. Right now I'm in the agenda view, which we'll touch on later in pricing. But I can go to the calendar view and everybody gets this view. This is where Derek can view all of his jobs during the day and see when he's going to be going out there. Another view I really like is our map view. Derek can actually see the appointments that are assigned to him and where they're at in a geographical location. We can see 1, 2, and 3. If I were to click in this job this afternoon, hey, there's Jessica's job. Click into that, and now I can see all those details about it here. Everything that the dispatcher would have created about the job, I as a technician now have access to. Now, let's pretend we're later in the afternoon. Derek needs to head over to Jessica's house. And what you might be doing today is making sure your technicians or manager, or maybe even the dispatcher, calls to say, hey, we're headed over to your house. Will you be there? Well, we can remove all of that with our On My Way notification. So the technician will hit this big blue button in the mobile app which says On My Way. When we do that, the customer will receive an email and a text message, as you see here, to say, hey, heads up, Derek from Dedham Plumbing is on his way. Click here to track his status. This is the desktop view and the email view. If I go back to my text message here as a customer, you can see I've received the exact same thing. Click on that from a customer perspective, and I can now view both notifications and both portals in one easy-to-use app. I can see my pizza tracker now shows the jobs in progress. I know Derek's going to come out to my house, and I can see he's going to get there in about 28 to 26 minutes. Sorry if I could do some quick math, and we can wait for his arrival. Quickly for you dispatchers out there, some information that is really helpful to know is where's your tech during the day? Are they able to get their jobs done? Do you have to reschedule work from today into tomorrow because they're running late? Or is he running early and you can actually give him more work? Dispatch allows that constant visibility into the job as we see here. All these jobs have a different color code for different statuses. This one for Jessica Day just went orange. That is telling us that the job is currently in progress. In progress how? Well, you see the truck where my mouse is. We know that's in progress and Derek is headed out there. And he has a relatively 15-minute drive out there from the second job. Derek's actually leaving a little bit further away, which is why it's going to take him 20-something minutes to get there. But you would have full visibility into that if you actually allow them to view GPS, which is why mine doesn't work. But I digress. The ability to constantly know what's going on and what your techs are doing is going to allow you to be more proactive or reactive with the schedule than just hoping that they can get everything done today. If I go back to my technician view here, I'm going to open it up. We're going to play the card of Derek drive. When he gets there, he's going to hit start appointment. When he hits start appointment, now we've actually logged him into the job, and we can actually see here again that went from a truck icon for you dispatchers to a play icon. Also back in the dispatch view here, if I were to refresh this page and scroll all the way down, we have an activity feed that shows everything that happened on this job. When it was assigned to Derek, when we rescheduled it that one time, as we already did, from 3 to 4 o'clock. When we go in route, when we started our work, all that's going to be kind of aggregated and congregated here for data for you to understand, was this technician timely and is everything going well? Let's change our view back to my mobile screen here. And this is where the technician can view everything that's going on the job. What they can also do is add additional details here. They hit the plus icon in the mobile app, and that allows them to add notes to a job. Looks just like this. Found a stray cat. Something like that. Great. Those notes are stored on the job. Hit the plus icon again, and now I can go to my photos. Want to take a photo of some work that they're finding outside? Take a photo of that, store it on that photo, or store that photo on the job, and then you will have access to that in real time. Once you see that uploaded there, if I were to refresh the dispatcher's view, you guys have access to everything. The note about the cat, the note or the photo that's taken right here, access to it all, as you can see, in real time, so you constantly know what's going on. Now, all this is happening in real time because we are connected to the Wi-Fi. We're using the cloud for storage. We also have offline capabilities. If you work in Pig's Knuckle, Arkansas, as my CRO likes to say, well, we actually have the ability for the mobile app, as you see here on the right, to go into offline mode. So they could be in the middle of nowhere, no cell service whatsoever, and they can still take photos. They can still take notes. They can even create the estimates, the invoices, and they can put that information on the job. And then when they get back to cell service, Wi-Fi, or anything like that that allows them to communicate with the cloud, this data will get pushed back to the cloud for that visibility and status and not get lost. So no matter where you're doing the jobs at, in service, out of service, we can help with that. Let me do a quick dive into our invoices and how they work. I can go to my invoice section here, and as a technician, I could create an invoice for me to fix this broken AC. let's say we need a new blower fan. Type in the word blower and we'll see a part come in such as blower fan, which retails for $550. I can save that on the job, and I can say that, hey, I also have some labor costs. It's going to take me about 2 hours to do it, and my company charges $60 an hour. I'm going to add a quantity of 2, as you can see right there. Save that off, and I can take payment right here for the $707. You'll see take payment is shown right here, and if I want to, I can take card details, I can take check information, and cash is king. We can take check as well, or sorry, cash as well. For credit cards, we use Stacks. So we have dispatch payment with Stacks, and you guys can apply at no cost, and if you get approved, you can take payment in the field the same day you are approved. What we can also do is we can actually remove the ability of the requirement for a technician to take payment in the field. If I go to this Show Details button down here, I can do a lot more information on this job. I can show this in the customer portal. So those links I'm clicking on, this email as you see here, in this portal version, I could put that billing information right here. And we can view this for the customer and then can even pay for the services in our portal without having to call you or contact you or have the technician ask for credit card information right there. Can be a nice experience as well. We can get customer signatures, technician signatures. There's a bunch of additional data around, work start date, PO numbers, payment terms. And then lastly, what we usually put in here is different contract terminology, whether it's your license to do work in a certain state or any payment to net 30, net 45, anything like that. You'd want to create that up in the platform over here on the dispatch side of things. And we can add that to the job and we can store that, and I can preview and send that as well. So it looks just like this. I can scroll into the PDF. Here's a nice logo of your company logo here. Here's a blower fan motor for retailing and your labor costs. I scroll over, we can see the total cost of $717. I scroll up and to the left, and now I can see here's these payment terms in different terminology that is below this invoice, and I can actually send this off to the customer to review just like that. So I, as a customer, going back here, will now receive this invoice from Dedham Plumbing. I can go view that document in the portal as seen here, and I can now pay that invoice of $707 with a card as is seen here. So to use our portal and card payment, we do need that dispatch pay with Stacks to be approved and applied for you, but we can support that in the platform as well. When everything is said and done, the technician will save and exit this job, and they'll go ahead and do the final status, which is completing the appointment. When they complete the appointment, they're going to have one of two options here. They're either going to tell you and the customer, the dispatcher and the customer, hey, this job is done. Let's complete it. I'm happy days we fixed the broken AC. Or they also have this other option around pausing the job. They can pause the job, which lets the customer know that they are not done. They have to come back at a later date, maybe order parts or something like that. Also importantly for the dispatchers at the company to know that the job is complete in a sense that the technician is no longer there, but another service call will have to be scheduled in the future, and that is where we have these lovely pause statuses here to show these yellow icons to view that as well. So no job ever gets lost in our queue system. I'm going to go down the happy path and hit complete for now. When I hit complete, as you can see, I'll hit next. Everything happened on this job in real time. The job is now grayed out, which shows us that the job is complete. And we also sent a last text message to the customer right here saying, hey, thank you for choosing Dedham Plumbing Brothers. We'd love to hear your experience. Please rate your experience here. And then I'll also show while that loads the email version of that as well. Same things. Hey, Jessica, how did we do? Rate your experience here. And I can have a 1 to 5 star option as we see here. And then we have some options around tell us why. Did you like the tech? Did you like the price and service? What did you like or dislike? When I submit this here, right now it shows a thank you screen. An additional paid feature is what we call as a social profile builder. What we can do is we can filter reviews based on positive or negative reviews. If it is a 4 or 5 star review, assume that's a positive experience, the customer can then be prompted to go leave a review or have social interaction with up to 3 different links. Usually the first one is the Google My Business page, but it could be follow us on Facebook, Twitter, go to our website to find out some coupons, whatever it needs to be, it's fully up to you. However, if it's a 1, 2, or 3 stars, that's a relatively negative experience. We don't want to give them easy access to go blast a negative response of you on socials, so we can hide this page and just show what we say here. Thank you for your feedback, and you can be aware of that negative review and go view that in the platform. When it is all said and done, if I go back to dispatch here, at the end of the day, Jessica's job is in the completed status, and everything here has a timestamp, and everything sits on this job. From the time Derek was out there, to the notes, to the photo, to the balance invoice of $707. Here's a survey that was completed for 5 stars, and they like the service, price, and technician. All of it sits here for your reporting needs and constantly knowing what's going on with every job. Before we end the demo, I want to touch on 2 more things. Reporting. We do have out-of-the-box reports as shown here, so you can go to Jobs and view all your jobs by different sources, jobs by regional location, job by service type. You can see your average time to accept jobs if you're working with other enterprise companies. You can look at your average time to schedule work or complete work and view all this information. We have different reports on customers, reviews, different technicians and how responsive they're being and how great they are, and any billing information as well. So lastly, let's take a quick look at price. If I go to my pricing page here, you will see that we have one of 3 plans. We have the Pro, the Plus, and the Power plan. Let me scroll up a little bit here. And what you're looking at is the Pro plan is going to be $109 a month, and you can sign up for Pro at a yearly cost, bring you to $1308 for the next 12 months. It's going to save you some money, and that comes with everything I've shown you today, I think except for 2 things. So this is going to come with the unlimited jobs, schedule and assign unlimited appointments, create estimates and invoices in the platform just like I did today, take that credit card, cash, and check payments like I talked about. You're tracking your field staff and technicians the same way the customers can view them. You have even more visibility into what your team is doing. Automated SMS and email notifications, I showed those off today. Access to web and mobile apps, what we did during the demo. Capture job notes and photos. Customer billing item and import. If you have anything like in a CSV file, we can support that. And then lastly, the ability to take payment in the field with our Stacks partnership. So for $109 a month, you can do that. If you're doing monthly, that's an option as well. That's just going to come to $129 a month. Then we have the Plus plan. The Plus plan has 2 really big ones, and I'll hit on that really quick. Automated QuickBooks sync. So if you have QuickBooks online and you're going to be expecting your technicians to take payment in the dispatch application, you could sync that information with your QuickBooks Online, remove double entry, and kind of have the data pass back and forth. The really cool one I do love about the Plus plan is the outbound technician call masking. The ability for your technicians to call the customer within the mobile app, just like I can see here. I can click on Jessica's number, I can click call, and when I click call here, it will actually mask my personal cell phone number and instead say Dedham Plumbing Brothers is calling, right? So it kind of puts a business front to it. Also hides your customers from having your technicians' personal cell phone numbers and calling or text them after hours and putting them in a rough spot as well. So really positive for that side of things. Agenda view in the mobile apps, that looks just like this here. So agenda view is this little icon and this little page here. Access for your technicians to go from one appointment to the next with these quick action buttons. Know exactly what they're doing today, but if we ever need to, this calendar view is always available no matter what application you download and what you pay for. Next, let's go to the Power plan. So the Power plan is going to be $329 a month or $379 if you want to go monthly and not pay for the full year. And that includes everything I've already discussed, but 4 additional features. Bottom up, custom forms. Custom forms is the ability to take any pieces of paper your team is using today and with static information, and we can take that and digitize it and put it in the mobile app. So, you know, I need a text box for answering what's wrong. I need you to mark down the make and model of the part. I need you to tell me a yes or no, did you do something, or if you didn't. That's a custom form. We can digitize it, put it in the mobile app, and have your technicians fill it out in every job you do for them. Next, we also have tech travel reporting. So the ability to see what technician traveled how many miles and how many hours on what date and time, and you can view that information. Public Review Builder is that ability to take the reviews I already talked about, but then push them to that 3 links if you're choosing. Google your business page, follow some Facebook or Twitter, go view some coupons or anything like that. That is that ability to filter reviews and push the positives and hide the bad. And then lastly, service area group management. A little bit more helpful for those that are in the larger organizations, but it's the ability to identify zip code level assignment to your technicians. So if you've got technicians, you want to keep Sam in the North Boston, and you want to keep Sarah in the South Boston, we can have different zip code assignments. The job falls in the north side, Sam's going to be recommended to do that job, and then vice versa. If it's in the south, Sarah can be recommended. So different ways of managing that. When it's all said and done, the last thing I want to highlight here as an add-on is if you are a company and you are looking to put a link or a website somewhere on your page to request service, look at what Dispatch has to offer for a free platform, which is this customer booking page. I can click Get My Link here. I can copy this link and put this on your website or your Facebook page, wherever you might have somebody go and request service with your company. And I, as a potential customer, will click that link, and that will bring me right here. This will be your company name, your company logo, but it's a landing page for a customer, future customer, to fill out their own work order information while also giving you some availability of when they would want that work order to happen. So we can actually, a customer could fill this out and say, hey, I'm available the next 3 mornings, and we can try and schedule that off. We also allow them to tell you 4 different options of services that they're expecting this job to be. Kind of helps you when you receive this job to know what type of work, what's the scope of work we're looking at here. These 4 are customizable for what your platform needs. We only have 4 options, but they're customizable. Also customizable on the right-hand side with these date pickers here is the ability to know or build a buffer to say, maybe you're booked out 4 days in advance, every day you're up 4 days, no matter what. Well, we can build that buffer into this, so the first date the customer picks is actually a date you believe or hope you could try and actually manage and put into the schedule, and that way you're going to have a better experience, and so will the customer. So that is the end of the Dispatch Field Service Management demo. If there's any ever questions, feel free to send an email to support@dispatch.me, but there's 2 other ways you can get more data. First, if you prefer to read, you can go to help.dispatch.me. Maybe go to your Getting Started page. Frequently asked questions, job versus appointment, what's the difference? And kind of show some terminology and kind of show you how things work in more of a reading status. If you're more of a video type, you can go to academy.dispatch.me. And what I recommend is going to the topics section here, and it's going to start from very basic information at the top and get more and more complex as you scroll down, and be really helpful for you as well. And last but not least, if you ever need anything while you're in the platform, please feel free to use the Help Center in the bottom right-hand corner. We've got in-app guides, different mobile app information. Dispatch Academy is right here as well, getting started with the mobile apps, different settings, different notifications. Actually a helpful Help Center for once, so feel free, go check it out. And if there's any questions, you can always hit up support@dispatch.me. Thanks for joining me for this demo. I hope it was very informational, and look forward to you signing up. Take care.